Columnist Femke Boot schreef van de week in de Volkskrant dat het nu wel eens klaar mag zijn met de online haatberichten en doodsbedreigingen aan haar adres.
Twitter, Facebook, al die comments. Het is allemaal zo ontzettend naar. Waarom kunnen wij niet gewoon vriendelijk van mening verschillen?
Hi, Howard.
Hi, how are you doing? Long time no see. I don't think you can even have imagined in your wildest dreams the implications that this movie would have on us now when you filmed it 2 years ago. I mean, just thinking about the impact that social media has had. I mean, the things that have gone on with Trump, Black Lives Matter, all these different things that are actually very, very significant factors in the film. Now, that must have really surprised you when all this came about afterwards, no?
Absolutely. I think I was watching a little bit of it just in preparing for this and watching back, and I saw this one part of the film where they then accused me of being a pedophile. I don't know if you remember that part of the film. Okay, it's all going to come out. There's, she's the head of a pedophile group, and I guess that has been around for a long time, right? With Pizzagate and all that nonsense. So I do think that it was all there. It just got worse.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, but also in the same way, social media, especially for artists, has become almost like a lifeline, no? Is that something that you've tried to keep away from, especially now during lockdown?
Well, I've been very fortunate that in the last 3 months I've been able to work. So I'm shooting the show Evil right now.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. Yeah.
The second season, and so I'm a little bit out of the woods, and I'm not very present on social media anyway. But so I try to stay away from that. Also, having done the film, there's just no point. I think for me that much.
So I mean, the fact that you're not all that active, I mean, you do use it. I was looking a little bit. I was stalking you on Instagram a little bit earlier on, just to kind of see the kind of things that you do post on there. And you do post some political things and then some kind of self-help type posts and things like that. But you're not that active. So what was it about this film that you felt this was an important message? Because I imagine you chose to be in it because of the message, because it had quite a few messages there.
Well, I just really love the writing. I love the character. I love that it said there was a little piece at the beginning that said, Femke is already completely and confused at the start of the film. And I like that as an entry point. Like the arc started sort of midway through her getting this psychosis sort of. So it was really the script that I found very humorous and absurd and timely, and then the director, who was a first-time feature director, who I'd seen a short film of, Ivo van Aert is his name, and I just thought he was very talented, and I wanted to be in it.
Mm-hmm. And the film is very Dutch. I mean, there's a lot of Dutch thing. I mean, obviously the social media and then the kind of the repercussions is international, not universal. But at the same time, there's some very Dutch topics in there, like Black Pete is kind of the catalyst for the whole film, no? I used to go to France a long time with my parents on holiday, so I've got a lot of Dutch friends, so I knew a lot of things that were going on there. But did you expect these kind of connotations that the film portrays to be so popular? Was it in international festivals, and now it's going to be released in the UK, for example?
I was a little bit surprised, but just because it's such a small film with a small budget, but I think they did it very well, and I do think that it hit. It came out at the right moment.
Niet de comments lezen.
Nee.
Heb je weer op Twitter gezeten? Niet doen.
Ik moet gewoon even mijn hoofd leegmaken.
Also, could you tell me about your relationship that you have with your daughter here? Because I really love that, because it was almost like an ironic relationship, because you were kind of fighting against people having their right to speak and say what they thought about you, and at the same time you were trying to promote her and encourage her to speak her mind and kind of get what she wanted to say in school.
Yeah, I mean, she's so not a redeemable character. Like she's so yeah, exactly. She wants people to just be nice. However, her daughter should be able to say whatever the hell she wants. And it's a Dutch expression where I don't know what the English way to say it is, but she's measuring with two different measure cups. What she wants for herself and what she wants for her daughter is a different thing.
Uh-huh. And then something that I don't know if it was just me, but I imagine this was something that you wanted to get across, is your relationship with this boyfriend that you have. It gave me the idea that you also wanted to portray social media as like everyone's judging everybody very superficially and judging people by their cover rather than who they really are. Was that something that was very predominant while you were filming? You could feel that on set?
I think with the boyfriend, what I like so much about the way that he presents himself is that it's entirely different to who he actually is. So he's this really soft guy on the inside, however, writes these horrible novels of murder and whatever, and presents himself as like a goth sort of strange figure. So yeah, and my cover, I guess, is sort of kind of suburban, white, sweet looking woman who ends up, murdering. So these two opposites next to each other, I thought were pretty clever.
Uh-huh. And I mean, your role is so satirical and so comical and dark, and you can't help empathizing with this person. And there's some really kind of laugh out loud moments. Was that difficult for you? I mean, could you tell me a little bit? Did you base this around anyone? Where did you come up with the way that she was? And was it easy balancing this really dark humor, because it works really well, but it must have been really, really difficult to get the right tone, no?
Well, I know that Ivo, the director, was quite worried that, she did need to stay sort of likable. So I did think about that, but also I tried to throw that out of the window immediately. Because I think, look, I work a lot on intuition. So these kinds of questions are always difficult for me because I don't really have an exact process. I just read something and I either connect with it or not. And then I do something and I'm happy you like what I did. But I don't know that I can tell you exactly, I didn't base it on anyone. I just understood that anger and took it to kind of an absurd level. I do come from comedy back in Holland.
All right.
I've done a lot of comedy and a lot of improv, and that's sort of how we worked on this as well. And I liked that Ivo, the director, allowed me to be physical in my comedy sometimes. Like I like the choices of how she moves, like after she, throws the first guy off the roof. There's kind of it's not exactly naturalistic the way that it happens. It goes into the absurd. So that's really why I wanted to do it. That it was, it has a horror element, but also is very funny.
Ik heb ook wel een uitlaatklep, hoor.
Wat dan?
Once you figure out how someone ticks, the face comes with it. Like I never really think about it that much, but I did have one, like I don't know if you remember, like the end of the movie when she walks down those stairs in that white suit. All
Of course I remember. It's impossible to forget that moment.
And so I did have actually a very specific inspiration for that, which was have you ever seen Isabelle Huppert in that Haneke movie where she plays a pianist, and then at the end of the movie she stabs herself before doing a concert?
Right,
and then,
I know which one I mean, yeah.
And I thought that was such a disturbing kind of way, and I felt like I wanted to try to get it into that territory with that last beat.
Aardig zijn. Waarom kunnen wij niet gewoon vriendelijk van mening verschillen?
At least how I understood it is that, you can have a really big mouth and say horrible things on the internet, but then when you go track these people down, they can just be your neighbor who's fixing the fence and offering you some leftovers, or, just people who have a different persona online and are tough guys online. And then, however, I don't know if the film tries to say anything other than to show that, and to hopefully, some of the people who do make those kinds of comments. Like I get quite a few DMs sometimes from people, especially after the film, that either say like, hey, do you want to marry me, or other inappropriate, like really inappropriate things that I won't get into, or it's like I'm going to come and do something horrible to you.
Really?
Yeah. If you're a woman and you're on the internet, I think that is a thing. And then especially if you're in the public eye. And also if you're a woman and you're not in the public eye, but you get asked, I know this from even very young girls, you get asked for nudes or whatever. This is a normal thing. This is happening. And I don't think we as a society understand how to deal with this yet. And especially as parents, I'm not a parent, but I mean, if I were to have young girls, I don't know how I would be able to control that. That would give me a lot of thought. I didn't grow up with it, but I know that it's a thing that is prominent. And in that way, the movie, however absurd it gets, and the consequences that my character brings to it, which is killing those guys, I do think that it's very grounded in a very dark reality of that this is what is happening. This is what's out there.
Yeah, definitely.
So I hope that, I hope we can all have a good laugh about it, but also I hope maybe, one or two people who see it, who might be tough guys on the internet asking for something or threatening something, might think like, oh, but I don't want her to come over to my house.
Yeah, I mean, the film, the truth is that the film also portrays this idea that it's very easy to find out where somebody lives and track them down. And it's actually, it's not as easy, but almost as easy, yeah.
Telling, on Facebook. Yeah, it is quite easy, I think. I think it's easy, so.
Yeah. So one thing, I was looking on your Twitter as well, something that you retweeted that really, I thought really resonated with the film was a tweet by Joe Hill, who said that there are other ways to change the world than politics. Art, for example. Is that something that you, I imagine you agree completely with that because you retweeted it?
Oh yeah, I do. I do think like art makes everything, it isn't everything, but without it, I think we're kind of nothing. And I do think that art helps us, tells us helps us how to live and helps us to be able to die and everything in between. And I do think, I worked in the theater in Germany for quite a long time, and there's not a theater show that the politicians don't come to see. They want to know what's going on in the theater and how we're doing as a people. And I think that that's something that I don't see very much in America. It's such a good question. I wish I had more time to think about that and give you a better answer. But yeah, I do think that art's very important. I wouldn't know what to do without it, really.
Yeah. Okay. So obviously we're running out of time, but I really want to talk to you about Evil as well, just to finish up, because I'm hooked. And unfortunately, because of coronavirus, I think it's been put off quite a while. It's supposed to come out very soon, no?
Yeah, they haven't been telling me when it's going to air, but we're halfway through filming the season. So we're starting episode 8 tomorrow of another 14 episodes, and I reckon it's going to be out in the spring. That's what I hope.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you can say too much, I know, but I know that you really elated that Robert King got to direct an episode just recently. I think the last one that you did, no?
Yeah, he directed the pilot, and obviously, he wrote it together with Michelle King, and yeah, so it's always really great when he comes back because he knows the show better than anyone. And the way TV works here is that you have different directors for every episode, basically. So
yeah, but and we were left on a bit of a cliffhanger on the fact that you were kind of worried about one of your daughters, maybe that something evil could be stirring there. Is that something that you will explore in this series, I imagine, this season?
Yeah, and the other cliffhanger is that, did she or didn't she kill this guy, LaRue, and am I maybe now going to the dark side? And what is going on with my daughter? Has she been corrupted in any way? And so many other things. It's going to be a wild season. The Kings are very funny in that they said, unfortunately, we had a lot of inspiration again for the next season.
I can imagine. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. Well, thank you so much for your time, Katja. I wish you the best of luck with the series. I can't wait to see it, and I wish best of luck with the film when it comes out in the UK next week. And I hope to speak to you again sometime in the future.
That'd be lovely. Thank you.
All right.
So much.
Take care. Bye now.
Op het leven